Hi, I'm Christy Barb at Astra Speech, and syllabic N's are fun to do, and they've come up a lot in my pronunciation meetup group, so I thought it would be good to get some more practice. First, we have to identify what is a syllable. As you can see here, the most basic definition is that it contains one vowel sound, and that's important because you can't just count on the letters. In the past, I've heard some people tell me they identify the syllables by counting the number of vowels. And that would be great if there was a one-to-one relationship between what you see and what you hear. But in English, spelling is crazy, so you can't just count the vowels. You have to count the vowel sounds. So the word meanie, as in you're a big meanie, big mean person, meanie looks like it has 4 vowels. There's an E, an A, an I, an E. But how many do you hear? You actually only hear 2 vowels, and they're the same vowel. So me, knee. It's the same E sound, and both times they're spelled differently. The first E is spelled with an EA, and the second E is spelled with an IE. So that's kind of weird. And then consonants can go either way. You can put them in on one side or the other side. It doesn't matter if I put the MEA in one group and the in another group, or I put that in the first group. It doesn't matter. One of the main rules is, here's the rules. A vowel sound can be a syllable on its own. You can have I, D, I, D, However, you can't have a consonant as a vowel sound on its own. So you couldn't say I, D, E, because we don't speak that way. We don't speak in individual sounds. We speak in syllables. So you could put the D over with the I if you wanted to divide it and say I'd, E, but the D has to go somewhere. It has to be with a vowel. It can't be by itself. So that's like the basic number 1 rule. However, you can break the rules because syllabic N's create their own syllable, and that's why it's called a syllabic N. The consonants M, N, ng, that N with a little hook on it is the NG combination when the tongue goes very high in the back, like sing, ring. You can feel the back of your tongue getting very high and touching, or L. So these can be made by themselves. You can hold your tongue in the same position and then make that noise. The most common one is the syllabic N, so that's what we're doing. When your tongue tip is placed on the alveolar ridge, which is right behind your top teeth, so it's it's kind of bumpy, but the top of your mouth, the skin on your mouth behind your top teeth, that's the alveolar ridge. When your tongue tip is there, when you go up for a T or a D, here, hold it there and don't release it. Like if I say cat, don't release the T and say cat. So this all depends on holding the tongue in the T or D position and then making the noise of the N. So when you say the word certain, you can say certain. In this case, you're saying t, releasing the air and putting the tongue back for the N. So it's, well, here's my S, certain, and back up. You can reduce that effort and movement by just saying certain. That's it. You have to make the beat. Certain. That's it. It's represented in phonetics as IPA symbols, as an N with a little line under it. So that little line is telling you to make the noise of that sound, in this case, So that's it. And some practice. Words that have D at the end. So when your tongue goes up for the D, burden. It's not wrong to say burden, but you can make it a little shorter, a little faster, a little easier by saying burden. And I could have put the D here, like right after, where's my cursor? Right here, after the N, after the R, I could put a D there, but it doesn't matter. You're going to the same place, and I didn't want you to think about making a D perfectly like bird. Burden. Wooden. Wooden. So wooden and wouldn't are going to sound the same because you don't pronounce the final T in wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, didn't, hadn't. You don't say the final T, so you just hold it there. So number 2, wouldn't and wouldn't sound the same. Wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, didn't, hadn't, garden, ridden, hidden, scoot up, forbidden, sadden, sudden. Okay? And now some that have the T in the final position. So mitten, written, kitten, bitten, cotton, rotten, gotten. And instead of saying getting perfectly, you can say gettin', gettin', or gittin', as I would probably say. Button, eaten, threaten, soften, certain, brighten, frighten, sweeten, important, mountain. And that's it. That brings me to the question I get asked the most, saying, have I been pronouncing these words wrong the whole time because I say brighten, frighten, sweeten? And the answer is no, it's not wrong, and that's totally fine. People will always understand you if you pronounce all of those sounds. However, you're pronouncing more sounds than most native speakers, so it will sound too correct, and it will stand out as a little different. That's it. You've been hearing the Syllabic-N all around you all the time, and you maybe haven't noticed it because if you're not aware of what to focus on, you're focusing on the meaning and not the individual details of how it was produced. So now when you try it, you are focusing on the details of how to produce it, but just try it and then wait for people's reaction, and then notice that there is no reaction because that's just normal. That's what people are used to hearing, and they will hear your meaning and just continue the conversation. So that's it. That's all about Syllabic-N. I hope you have fun with it, and I hope you start hearing it and noticing it all around you.